Hey everyone, a really warm welcome back to the channel. Well, in this video we're going to take a really close look at two models from the Eriba Touring range, because the Eriba Touring range has gone through some massive design changes for 2023, not only in terms of interior colours but also in terms of exterior styling, and for the more mechanically minded, the entire chassis is completely different, which gives it a very slightly different shape. So if you look at the side in a minute, you'll see that the 22 and prior Eriba Tourings used to go up slightly at the back, whereas this one has a completely flat floor all the way through, and that's probably the most obvious change in terms of the completely different chassis. But it also means the chassis is slightly longer, so these things have a fractionally longer A-frame, which makes it much easier to get bikes on the front. So you're looking here at footage shot during October 2022 at the NEC show, and we're going to look at the major design differences and revisions and so on between these two models. And the all silver model here is an Eriba Touring at 540, and the white and silver model is a 542. So these are very similar layouts. They're the two most similar layouts on show at the show. So that's the difference, and they have slightly different interior colors as well, because the 540, the entirely silver one here, is styled in what's called the Legend colorway, and the 542 in the Urban colorway. So let's just have a look around the outside so you can see the differences here. Now this is the optional chrome pack that you're seeing here. So the design pack gives you alloy wheels. It steels as standard, so if you want decent alloy wheels you need to opt for that pack, or just the option for the alloy wheels if you don't want the whole design pack. So the design pack includes these alloy wheels, this chromed wheel arch skirt, and also the chrome bumper that you can see at the bottom here. So the round lights are all standard, but that chrome bumper at the bottom is an option. So let's have a look at the specs here. Now this one they've got on show has got the optional chassis upgrade to 1400 kilograms. Now in theory that gives you a payload of something like 390 kilos, but of course you need to take off the weight of any extra options, so payloads aren't always as good as they seem, and lots of things that you would get as standard on a UK manufactured van, so things like spare wheels, things like 12-volt systems, sometimes things like fly nets, all those things are optional extras on Eribas, so that not only means weight but also it means additional cost. This one that we're looking inside here is the urban finish, so this is the sort of funky white and grey walls with the lighter coloured wood for the wood effect parts. It's very 90s in here. That's what it reminds me of. Really has that sort of late 80s, early 90s feel about it. And this one has got the optional upholstery. This is known as Tulsa. Can't say I'm convinced personally, not with the yellow as well. But anyway, that is I'm sure some people love it. So for the upholstery you've got two different options. In this model, the Legend model, you've got standard is grey, and then the optional is this red finish, this Tulsa. And then there are other options in the Legend, which we'll go and have a look at in a minute. Now just to come back to that chassis upgrade, the 1400 kilogram MTPLM chassis is a completely different chassis. It's not just a sticker upgrade, so that weighs an extra 10 kilograms and will also set you back £390 sterling at the time of recording. So it's completely different chassis, as I said. And if you want a spare wheel, you can have a steel one at £270 or an alloy one at £400, all undermounted and all lockable. Now the options list for these things is incredibly complicated. There's an online configuration system, but even then, if you're not really familiar with these things, that might be a little bit confusing about what's included in the various packages, what you need and what you don't need. So do obviously work very closely with the dealership if you're considering specifying one of these things. So this is a quickie overview and to the best of my knowledge. Both of these models, the 500 series, which are more affectionately known in the community as trolls, these things are now 599 centimeters long, whereas last year and previously they were 596. So it's not a huge difference, unless you're running a caravan workshop and you've got many of them stacked up, and those 4 or 5 centimeters make all the difference. But it's just long enough to make it a lot easier to get bikes on behind the jockey wheel in front of the gas locker. Okay, now we're going to do a sort of panorama of in here, so you can have a look at the thing all the way around. Now we've popped over into the 560, so this is the family one with the convertible dinette at the back and the bunks at the front. And I wanted to pop in here because I wanted to show you the other colour variation. So this is the standard grey with the yellow highlights on the piping, and that ties in with yellow highlights elsewhere, so you can see what this 560 layout looks like. Alright, now let's pop back to the 540, and this is the Legend finish. This one again is being shown on a 1400 kilo chassis, and as I said, they're 599 shipping length, so right from the front to right from the back, 210 wide and 227 tall with the roof down. Costs are from £25,480 for these two models, the 542 and the 540. But of course you'll be nowhere near that by the time you've added options like spare wheels and 12-volt systems, so you're probably looking at about 30 grand for these things. A lot of money, especially when you measure it per square meter, but you know, you get a lot of style and a retro coolness about it. So if you fancy that, that might be for you. So this one, as you can see, similar layout, but has a completely different colour scheme in here, so a completely different feel about it. This is Legend, so this is designed to be much more sort of classic, with the dark wood. You can also have the lighter wood as an option here, but the darker wood contrasting with the white, and then either the grey interior as standard, or this optional one, which is the beige interior. So these are no cost options. So as well as being 599 centimeters long, these things are 210 centimeters wide, and they start with a chassis weight of 1300 kilograms MTPLM, or maximum gross, whichever wording you prefer, and they are 227 centimeters tall with the pop top down. Now of course the pop top gives you perfectly normal head height when you go inside in most of the cabin, but if you are very tall, do mind out getting into the bed at the rear, or walking towards the sofas at the rear, depending on the layout, because you might receive an Eriba kiss, which is very painful, from what I'm told by tall people. Now, one more tip that I forgot to share earlier about the outside finish you choose. Do be a little bit careful, because a lot of Eribas seem to come in white all over and that dimpled hammered finish, which is particularly popular on the continent because it's very robust, it's incredibly difficult to scratch, doesn't show up normal dings and dents and so on, but seems particularly unpopular in the UK. So as I said, if you're specifying one from new, just be really, really careful to get what you want. Right, now let's do a panorama so you can have a sweep round without me in the way and get a good feel for what this is like. Alright, so that's it. I hope it was useful looking around these Eribas and really seeing with your own eyes what the various options are in terms of colours and finishes and optional extras, and so on. A few things I haven't mentioned: you can also upgrade the double burner in the kitchen to a 3 burner for £140. I've got a 3 burner and I don't think I've ever used all 3 of them in one go, so I think if it were me I probably wouldn't do it because it would just take up valuable worktop space. There's not a huge amount of that, and I hope this tour was useful. Thanks for tuning in. If it was helpful, do the old thumbs up thing, and please subscribe if you're not already. That would be very much appreciated. I'll catch you in the next one. So bye for now. See ya.